And this is the 12th episode, I believe it is, might be number 11 now that I'm thinking about it, of this edition of Citadel Greyline, the 2023 Fall Roundup of Citadel Bulldog athletic news and goings on at South Carolina's Military College. John Rawl is my name, and we will, for the next 30 minutes or so, break down all things Bulldogs with you as the Citadel continues to suffer losses on the gridiron, most recently in the home finale against the Wofford Terriers. Dogs go down to the Pups out of Spartanburg. We will break all that down with you here on the program. We'll also talk a little Citadel basketball and other athletic activities at South Carolina's Military College here on the program. We have Andrew Miller standing by from the Charleston Post and Courier, as well as Thomas Scruggs back with us here this week. And want to remind you that Citadel Greyline, which is delivered each week during the football season, we're presented in part by some great sponsors: IPS Packaging and Automation, Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, located in the 803 portion of South Carolina, Daybreak Adult Care Services, and Pedigo Electric Bikes, with locations in both Aiken and in West Columbia, South Carolina. Y'all.com also is a proud provider of Citadel Greyline each week. And about Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, you can give them a call, 803-281-2974. They have a 24-hour emergency service available Monday through Thursday. A stellar team of plumbers, as they offer a full-service plumbing, gas, drain, and sewer company. Expert 24-hour emergency service available Monday through Thursday. And if you go to the website for this company, franklinplumbing.sc.com, they actually have a coupon right there, $250 off sewer replacement. So if you're in the Midlands of South Carolina, please keep in mind Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, a Citadel-led company and one of our great partners here with us on Citadel Greyline this year. Andrew Miller is with the Charleston Post and Courier. He's standing by in Charleston. You can find Andrew on his social media account at APMiller_P&C, and Mr. APMiller_P&C on with us right now. Andrew, we got one game left here on the Bulldogs football schedule. Welcome into the show.
Thanks for having me, John. Yeah, it's the last game on the road up at ETSU, Johnson City. The last time I was up there, the games were indoor. I know they have a new stadium there. It's an outdoor stadium now. Looks like a pretty nice facility. I will be in the Low Country, though, covering the game via ESPN Plus. So, yeah, I think that they have, a legitimate shot at winning this game. It's really going to come down to, and I hate this cliche. I hate this cliche more than any cliche in sports, but I think it's true. It's very apt in this moment. It's who's going to want it more. What team cares about being there the most? And I think that's the team that's going to win. Obviously, Citadel hasn't, 0-10 going to this game. They've lost 10 in a row. ETSU has lost 4 in a row and 6 of their last 7. So neither team going in the right direction right now. But I think it's actually going to come down to which team thinks they have something to play for, has the pride to go out there and put in a 60-minute effort.
And we'll discuss that. We'll also, again, look back at Wofford here on Citadel Greyline. If you want to get involved with our program, we welcome you. We've got our text lines open right now, 843-779-8496, the number right there. Whenever I pull up my graphic with my name on it, it's right there on the screen now. You can reach us again via text, 843-779-8496. We got some good feedback from our show last week. Ellis Johnson, former Citadel football player, alumnus, and former Citadel head coach, on with us last week. A wonderful conversation with Coach Ellis Johnson that if you get a chance to go back and watch that in our Greyline archives. But got a lot of feedback from that we'll be bringing that out of our Greyline mailbox here in just a moment. Our third part of our wheel back with us this week, and that would be Thomas Scruggs. Thomas, Andrew just used the word clichés, and so I'm going to use a cliche to describe you. I'm going to call you the forever knob. How does that sound?
I guess that's fine, John. I think I'll always be a knob in your eyes.
Well, now you do have kind of a knob haircut, though. I'm impressed by that. So, Thomas, you had a chance to tune in Citadel football against Wofford, which was a little bit of a civil war within a war between the states, if you will, within the Scruggs household.
Yeah, as you know, John, my wife is a Wofford alumnus, and I guess been together 23 years now, and of those 23 years, I know I can count on one hand the number of times El Cid's beaten Wofford. So it's very painful in the Scruggs household, at least for one half of the Scruggs household, to continue to lose to Wofford.
So I'm glad that you're showing up here today.
Yeah, not much to get excited about. I do not share Andrew's enthusiasm about going up to Johnson City, Tennessee. When you can't manage more than 3 points at home against an 0-9 football team, I see no reason for enthusiasm this year.
Oh man, the you can feel the venom coming in from Thomas Scruggs here on the Citadel Greyland. Not just kidding in some ways, but no, it's losing unfortunately kind of becomes a disease, Andrew.
Yeah, and it was. I think defensively, I thought the Citadel played pretty well. They had a couple of really nice goal line stands. Again, I believe at one point Wofford was either first and goal or second and goal from the 1 yard line, and they ended up holding them to no points in that situation. Or was it a field goal? I can't. Hold on. They had the intentional grounding. I can't. Did they hit that field goal? I think they hit the field goal. So they held them to 3 points, which was I thought would win. You just can't turn the ball over that many times, and that's really been the Citadel's Achilles heel all season long. They've turned the ball. Their offensive turn. Not only have they been unable to produce points, but they've turned the ball over as well. I mean, you got to be able to get more points and more yards and control the ball more against a Wofford defense that wasn't particularly good going into the game. It just shows you how far the Citadel offense has to go with the new scheme that they're running. They had moments. Akeem Elmore, I thought, played really well for 265-pound former defensive tackle. He rushed for 100 yards. They were able to control the ball in chunks, but again, those turnovers just absolutely killed them.
And
Andrew, question for you.
Go ahead, Thomas.
Sorry, John. Andrew, question for you. They looked at them the last 3 offensive series. Our tight end was wide open.
Wide open.
And I don't know if that was just the point of the game where we were, the type of defense Wofford was playing. A lot of people are asking, well, how did it take us the entire game to figure out we have a tight end? So
Yeah.
That's just a question for you.
Yeah, and I asked that question after the game, and what Maurice Drayton said was that earlier in the game that the tight end was not open, that they had changed their coverage scheme, and I think it was the last 2 possessions where they went more to kind of a prevent defense, a zone defense look, and that he was not. So earlier in the game, they were playing, I guess, a little bit more of a man zone combo defense in the secondary, and that he wasn't open, or that's what he said. And I wasn't paying attention that much to McSweeney during those moments in the game. But certainly, yeah, those 3 straight passes, 2 of them where he had 4 straight passes, 57 yards. I mean, he single-handedly brought the team all the way down the field. But yeah, you got to finish drives, and you can't turn the ball over, and that's something the Citadel has just not been able to do all season long offensively.
What did Coach Drayton specifically say about the turnovers?
That they can't, the ball is the most important thing. You can't turn the ball over. It's just kind of what every coach says. And he says they work on ball security every practice. There's a whole period on it at every practice, and they just haven't been able to, translate what they're doing on the practice field to Saturdays, to the game day. And that's really been a lot of their issues the whole season, is that he thinks they're practicing better. There's more enthusiasm. There's more confidence, I say, in the schemes that they're running, but during practices, that's what they get. But then they can't translate that to game day, and that's just a team has to learn how to win. I know that, again, that's another cliche that I hate, but that is true. A team has to learn how to win. I think the Citadel basketball team is going through a similar thing. I think they've got some real talent on that team. They just got to learn how to put it all together and win.
Now, the question about the Citadel football team, Thomas, is do you think the Citadel football team has talent? Is it a question of talent, or is it a coaching question of getting that talent to play, Thomas? I'll leave that one for you.
Well, my opinion is this, John, and this is strictly my unprofessional opinion. These are the same athletes we had last year. You bring in a new scheme that doesn't fit your current talent. and you expect to struggle. But I don't think anybody could foresee the way we've struggled this year. It's just hard to watch. So yes, I think you've got a combination. I really think there are issues in that locker room that does involve the coaching staff. I don't see how you can deny that. When you don't see improvement from game 1 to game 10, I don't see how you can say we don't have coaching issues. I'm not saying that's Maurice Drayton, but his defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, I'm not sure. How do you continue to fumble the ball the 10th? I don't care what the practices are like. The fact that you can't translate that from the practice field to the game, the 10th game of the year, uh, that's not just the players. Come on. I'm not willing to give the coaching staff that pass. They haven't earned it. They're 0-10. They haven't won a single game. We just lost to an 0-9 team at home. We couldn't score more than 3 points. So no. I will not give Maurice and his staff a pass.
Oh, and their dogs are being sicked on you now, Thomas. All right, so must be a mailman coming with the delivery. Yeah, those are strong words Thomas has, but I think you're seeing a fair amount of Citadel fans and perhaps the people within the program. I mean, this is the kind of thing that happens when you're 0-10.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah. No, I think Tommy's right. It's a combination of players and some coaching. I mean, the quarterback is such an important position, especially in this offense, any offense really. And their number one quarterback has been hurt almost the entire year, Dustin Fletcher, who I thought showed signs of being a pretty good quarterback. But yeah, there's some play calling on both sides of the ball that I would question as well. One thing that Maurice Drayton said this week, which I found astounding, was that 25 guys on his team that have played this year did not start or did not play high school football. And I don't know whose fault that is. That could be they did not start at their high schools or they didn't even play high school football. They got a couple of lacrosse players. I'm doing a story on James Platt, the punter this year. He walked on as well. He didn't even walk on. He was an equipment manager, to start his career, and then he walked on and taught himself how to punt. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, and who does that? I mean, that amazed me when I heard that statistic about all the players and then James Platt. I mean, that's just unbelievable. That they're, I think at some point. Yeah, it's just a combination of both. They don't have much talent there. I mean, you can just look on the field and just see who the athletes are and who the athletes are not. And then I think part of it, there is some coaching changes. I would expect there to be some turnover in the coaching staff between this year and next year.
Mm-hmm. Tough times again.
I would ask the question. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
No, I just made a comment. You go, big guy.
I would ask the question, Andrew. Why was the cupboard so bare when we hired Maurice? It's not like this didn't happen overnight.
No, and I think part of the issue was that I kind of felt like that at the end of last year, Brent had kind of given up because he was tired of fighting the battles with the administration and with some of the things that were going on, and some of them have kind of come up this year as well. Part of it, they just recently allowed the guys who are on the football team the transfer guys to actually eat in the mess hall. And, when you're only giving the guys $920 to live on an entire year in Charleston, that's not going to work. So where are they going to eat? I mean, those are kind of the little battles that they've had to fight. And every sport is fighting them, as I'm learning from all the head coaches, all these little battles that kind of hinder producing a quality team. Although, let's face it, the volleyball team, they're not having those same issues because they've been great. 26-2 now going into the Southern Conference tournament this weekend.
How many transfers do they have on the volleyball team, Andrew?
A couple. But yeah,
I think it's one.
Is it one? Is it one? I thought there were two, but okay.
So they're winning with mostly cadets. Okay, they have 3 square meals a day and a place to stay.
Yep.
Okay.
Noted.
Yeah, but apples and oranges there, but I understand your point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long has Dave been there?
Yeah.
How long has Dave been there? He's been there what, 5 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's had a chance to build a program. This is Maurice Drayton's first season, and like you, I knew there'd be growing pains, but you're right. You're playing at home. You're playing against another winless team. You got to put up more than 3 points. If the game would have been 31, 28, then I think everybody could have lived with it. But when you only get 3 points, I don't care about the conditions. Yeah, that's you gotta figure some stuff out.
Yeah. Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, I listened to Maurice Drayton coming off the field on the Citadel Radio Network Saturday in that loss to Wofford, and we wish him the best, and we wish him to turn this program around and start bringing in lots of wins. But fellas, I'll tell you, if the coaching thing doesn't end up working out for Maurice Drayton, I got the perfect job for him. He needs to be a author of like self-help books, because every time he gives a quote, it's like we need to be disciplined and those kind of things. I mean, Andrew, you hear him all the time.
Yeah, yeah, I do. No, he's for a guy who's 0-10, you would not know it from talking to him. I mean, just he's always upbeat. He's always positive. He's always saying the right things about his players and his coaching staff, and the buck stops with him, and he said that all along. He said, that's on me, everything's on me. So it's not like he's trying to deflect the blame. I mean, he it's all on him, and he says it. He definitely doesn't like people criticizing his players either. He will stand in front of these guys and take a bullet for him, which I think is very admirable for a coach. But yeah, we'll see where we are, in the off season and then going into next season. But it's a pretty steep hill to climb right now.
Well, the Bulldogs have that one last chance to get a win on the season. They'll be in Johnson City taking on East Tennessee State. What do we know about the Bucks of 2023, Andrew?
Well, again, they've really struggled, like the Citadel in the last 6-7 games. Obviously beat them last year. They are a pretty decent offensive football team. They've been able to put up some numbers. That's kind of why, Tommy, and I agree with you a little bit. To beat a team, you're going to have to score more points than them, and so far the Citadel's not been able to do that. But they're next to last in defense, total defense, defense points against. So there's an opportunity there for the Citadel offense to maybe right some wrongs here and get on and have one pretty good last game. Again, it's going to come down to which team hasn't given up. That's what I think is the bottom line. Is ETSU, are they already given up and are they out the door, or is the Citadel given up and they are out the door? And I think that's what this game's going to come down to. It's going to be not X's and O's, not scheme, not anything like that. It's just which team wants to be there the most.
Yep, it's not another cliche, not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmy and Joes.
But it's not just the Jimmys and Joes. It's which Jimmys and Joes want to be there. To be there, want to play hard. And both sides have said the same thing. We want to send our seniors out the right way.
ETSU, have they won a game in the Southern Conference this year?
Yeah, they beat Wofford.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's comforting. So if my facts are correct, gentlemen, the Citadel has not gone winless since 1918, which appears to be their only winless season. They were 0-2-1 under Coach Harvey O'Brien.
That is correct.
This will be a terrible record. 0-11.
Yeah.
0-2 is a lot different than 0-11. So,
and they were dealing with the Great War and the Spanish influenza outbreak in 1918.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think they tied South Carolina that year. That was the team they tied. They lost to Clemson. They lost to Porter Goud, or I think it was Porter Military School at the time. Yep. And then lost to them twice. Lost to Clemson. No. That's too many losses. I think they lost to the Porter Military School, Clemson, and then they tied South Carolina. Last game of the season up in Orangeburg.
Well, it looks like they took advantage of the transfer portal in 1919 and went 4-4-1. So.
There you
go. Oh, wise guy here, Thomas Scruggs, with us on Citadel Gray Line. We're going to talk about what lies ahead and more here for Citadel Athletics. But let me also remind you here on this program, all about Bulldog Sports, that we are also one of our great partners on this is Pedigo. Pedigo electric bikes with locations in West Columbia and also in Aiken, South Carolina. And Pedigo, you can go to PedigoElectricBikes.com to learn more about this awesome service. As Pedigo in West Columbia and Aiken, owned by Coker Day from the class of 1995, a locally owned store where you'll be treated like family. As the region's foremost electric bike experts, Pedigo will put their heart into helping you find the perfect electric bike and get the most out of the many years to come that you will have scooting around wherever you are in America on your awesome electric bike. You can shop for the Pedigo electric bike while you're there, buy you one. They've got various models like the Interceptor. That's something the Bulldog defense might need to check out. The Interceptor model there at Pedigo Electric Bikes. And if you're not looking to necessarily dive headfirst into buying one, you can rent one, as Thomas has done in years past. It's Pedigo Electric Bikes with locations in West Columbia, the Soda City location. And you can give them a call at 803-563-5636, 563-5636. Pedigo Electric Bikes. Check them out and enjoy a good day out on the trails and other paths that we've got around the state of South Carolina and the rest of America. The Bulldogs again with the finale this week at ETSU, and then that'll be the off season. Andrew, real quick, I know there was a story that just came out on the CitadelSports.com website about Citadel Basketball. Evidently, they just got some recruiting news they posted there. What do we know about football recruiting heading into a very quickly approaching signing day in December?
I've asked Maurice that very question the other day. He said he's got a couple of verbal commitments. He's not sure that they're going to sign in December. So then that would leave the February, the more traditional, well, the old traditional signing day period, that first Wednesday in February. I think that's when they'll make an announcement. But they could get he thinks they might get one or two guys that would sign during the early period. But there is a rumor out there, and I will not say, I can't say who the player is, but if they get this guy and he's a graduate transfer, I know Tommy Scruggs' his favorite kind of player to come into and play.
Tommy Scruggs.
Thomas Scruggs, I apologize, Tommy.
No, I'm kidding. Tommy Scruggs is the color guy on Gamecock football games.
I'm sorry, Thomas. I apologize. Yeah, I got my Gamecock glasses on. My bad.
All right, Todd Ellis.
Todd Ellis, yeah. Well, what's funny is I actually intercepted a Todd Ellis pass or returned it for a touchdown when I was 12 years old. So that was
not difficult to do at any point.
As I found out later, that's a pretty large club to have right there. To be in. But yeah, anyways, sorry, Thomas. Let's say yes, but there is somebody who might be coming here that the Low Country fans will know. That if they get him, that could be a game changer for the Citadel next year. Of course, that's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts, and recruiting is a funny thing. But I think recruiting so far is going well. And talking to Everett Sands, too, their recruiting coordinator, it doesn't seem like the 0-10 record is scaring guys away. And they're getting a lot of people in to visit the Citadel, some athletes that they would not have had a chance at earlier. So I think recruiting-wise, and we all know that Maurice can recruit, that seems to be going pretty well.
Thomas.
Yeah, I think one upside there, Andrew, is if when you're 0-10, you're winless, you have a bad record like we do. The people you're talking to, you can pretty much guarantee they're going to start immediately.
Yeah,
if they have any talent whatsoever, they're going to start. Or get significant playing time.
Yes, yeah, no doubt, and I think that's their major selling point is come sign here and play right away. And I think that's going to work on a lot of kids, especially because of the transfer portal and the way that other teams just kind of ignore or have gone less the high school route and are going more the transfer portal route.
Thomas, what are the most important signings that this recruiting team needs to have here in a couple of weeks? What positions?
Well, I mean, with this new offensive scheme, I would hope that quarterback would be, it's definitely in their sights. But that's hard to say, John. we need help on both sides of the ball. I think the offense definitely needs to be the focus for sure. Sometimes when we line up against even teams like Wofford, it looks like we're playing a different level of football. Just the physicality, the physique, all that. So, I don't know. I don't really know. You kind of put me on the spot there. I don't know
Well,
who
that's
we
what I'm
should be
doing.
targeting. I want to target some guys that want to win. I want to target some guys that part of the winning team that want to come win at the Citadel. You know, guys that fit his scheme, his offensive scheme. To me, that's the most important thing.
And what
With
Andrew
him being
said,
a defensive.
what Andrew said a minute ago about players, 25 of them roughly, that have never played high school football and or have never been the starting player on their high school team. And I
Yeah,
don't think we got a lot of guys from like powerhouse football teams on this roster. So these are guys who were second string players on second string teams.
well, we certainly don't need to be converting equipment managers into starters. So I know that's a different case. But what I would say is, I mean, we've had a formula in the past for recruiting to the Citadel. I know it's a tough place to recruit. Guys don't want to wear uniforms. We know, the transfer portal, it can be a strength. It can be a weakness as well. There's only for certain percentage of the players are going to come in via the transfer portal. So I know we talk a lot about the transfer portal, but obviously that's not the big picture. That's immediate help there, right? The guys you're going to get out of the transfer portal, looking to come in and make an immediate impact. So, but again, I go back to, I know it's simplified. It's offensive players, it's athletes that can play within Maurice's system. That's what we need. Where we're going to find those guys, I'll leave that up to Maurice.
Yeah, I think quarterback and running back. Running back is another key position that the Citadel really needs. Cooper Wallace has done a great job, but he's not the biggest guy, and now he's banged up, and he hasn't played the last 3 games, and I think that's been an issue. I mean, Johnny Crawford didn't play against Wofford. That was an issue. They really only had Akeem Elmore. He was the only healthy running back they had. I know they're looking at a couple of running backs. There's a running back at Irmo who I've been told that they really like a lot. I'm actually going to see him play Friday night against James Island down here. So they need a big running back, or at least running back who's over 200 pounds, who can take the pounding that offense requires, and then quarterback. And I think those are the two most important things. I think they got some young offensive linemen who are coming along. I think they've got some young secondary guys that are coming along. But yeah, you want guys who are athletes who can play, no doubt about it.
Go Irmo. That's my alma mater. Irmo class 91.
Which campus? Campus I or Campus R?
That was middle school, John. Get your facts straight.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, well, they
but
need
I was
a lot.
Campus R back in the day, middle school.
Okay, thank you. That was a lot of help, and frankly, Irmo High School. Well, I won't even say would probably go a long way against the Citadel right now in 2023. Maybe the whole team can sign with the Citadel in the off season. Let's move on from recruiting to talk about other fun stuff here at Citadel Gray Line. And we couldn't do this show when we get together each week in the football season without IPS packaging and automation. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're cheering for those dogs, we want to let you know all about this true champion off the field, IPS packaging and automation, a family-owned and operated powerhouse that's been a titan in the packaging industry since the bicentennial year of 1976. Did you know that was the bicentennial year, Thomas? Okay, I guess he didn't.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Maybe Thomas Scruggs knew that.
Yeah. That's right. Clocking over 4 decades in the game. Yeah. Stand tall as a leader in the packaging
IPS
products.
Packaging bicentennial year.
Yeah. Stand tall. IPS Packaging, a top-notch service. It plays a crucial role in the packaging processes of countless businesses and manufacturing facilities across our U.S. of A. And a fun fact for you LCID fans, IPS Packaging and Automation has been a sponsor of Bulldog Athletics for over a decade. Discover what IPS Packaging and Automation, led by Derek Murdoch of the Citadel class of 1997, what they can do. Go check out their website, ipack.com, and that's ipack.com, or call them up at 800-277-7007. IPS Packaging and Automation is a proud supporter of those Bulldogs of South Carolina's Military College. Again, you can join us here on Citadel Gray Line. We have our Charleston area text line open right now, 843 843-779-8496 right there on the screen. If you have a chance, you can see it there. 843-779-8496. We had a couple of some comments came in from our show last week. Thomas, you weren't able to join us, but we had Ellis Johnson, a great member of the class of 1974, on with us, and former Bulldog player and a great Bulldog football coach, leading the Dogs to a 6-6. I think it was 6-6 season before he took off for the greener pastures of a place that's got a lot of pastures, Starkville, Mississippi. But Coach Johnson was on with us last week, and we've got a couple of comments about that I wanted to share with you. Jeffrey Varner has let us know here at the Gray Line that Ellis Johnson, quote, great coach and a great man. Thank you for that, Jeffrey. And Hayes Lothian, a regular here on the Gray Line, and you can find us on our Gray Line Facebook page a lot of times and see the video of this show. Hayes Lothian writes, loved hearing Coach talk schemes. And boy, did he get pretty scientific in his discussion of schemes when he was on with us last week. So again, go back in our Gray Line archives and watch that interview with a Citadel alum and head coach of yesteryear, and a guy who was actually a guy that was Maurice Drayton's coach in a couple of different stops along the way. Ellis Johnson, we appreciate him again coming on with us last week. All right, fellas, basketball's tipped off. NC State was that first game. They've had a couple other games. Most recently, El Cid goes up I-26 to the home of the Blue Hose, and in a midweek battle, I think it was midweek. I think it was Monday. They played Presbyterian, and Presbyterian, they laid the good book on the Citadel Bulldog basketball team.
Yeah, I was at the Boston College game Friday night, and a game which they led probably 15 to 18 minutes during the game. They actually had to lead with about less than 10 minutes to play against an ACC team coached by Earl Grant, who coached at the Citadel, former College of Charleston head coach. That was a really fun game to be at. Great atmosphere. I think the Citadel basketball team is, like I said, they're going to be around 500 this year. They went up to Presbyterian and lost, I think, 71-64. I believe that was a score. I think it was a 7-point loss. But a game that went eight ties, 7 lead changes, or maybe it was 8 lead changes and 7 ties. Game that kind of went back and forth. But PC went out to Vanderbilt and beat Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt, so they beat a Power 5 school. So I think PC was going to be a tall challenge for them. They got North Greenville tomorrow night. Again, I see a lot of improvement from the team from last year to this year. They got some A.J. Smith and Elijah Morgan. Those guys return. Madison Durr returns. And they got Winston Hill and Quentin, who's their big guy who played at Vanderbilt last year. So I like the freshmen that have come in. Kenyon Davis, I think that's his last name, came out and hit four 3-pointers against Boston College. He's a taller, kind of 6'3", 6'4" point guard, off guard freshman. I thought he played really well. They got 3 or 4 freshmen that are going to come in and contribute. So, like I said, I think they're going to be much improved from last year. A fun team to watch.
All right. How was the McAllister? How was it Friday against Boston College, Andrew?
Great atmosphere. Lots of cadets showed up. I don't know if that was mandatory or not, but I'm hoping that was they just want to come and see an ACC basketball team play on their home floor, but had a really good crowd, really good atmosphere. It was a lot of fun to be at that game.
Well, again, the Bulldogs in a close battle end up losing that one to BC. We wish they'd have pulled it out, but they just couldn't do it there when it mattered most. And again, you said the opponent who is it Thursday they play?
North Greenville.
Okay. Should be the first victory of the year. If I were a betting man, I'd put my money on the Bulldog basketball team for that one.
Yes.
All right. So wishing them all the best. And then I know you mentioned earlier in the program something about that awesome Bulldog volleyball team. Where do we stand with the Coach Z's team?
The Southern Conference Championship Tournament, it actually began last night. UNCG and ETSU played each other. ETSU won. ETSU will now face the Citadel Friday at 4 p.m. That game will be on ESPN Plus. That's the first round, I guess technically the quarterfinals of the Southern Conference volleyball tournament that's taking place up at Wofford. If they win that, they play Saturday in the semis, and then Sundays will be the championship game at 4 o'clock. That game will be on ESPN Plus. They have to win the tournament to get into the NCAA tournament, but they are the favorites to win the tournament. They're the number one seed. The first time ever in school history they've been the number one seed.
Did they officially win a so-called regular season title?
Indeed, they did.
Okay. How
And
about
the
that?
biggest challenges will be, will be
A banner
Mercer
going
and
up in
Walker.
McAllister because of that.
Yep. 23-game win streak is the second longest winning streak in the entire country this year. Nebraska's 25-0.
Wow. Kudos to the Lady Bulldogs and good luck in their Southern Conference journey to Spartanburg, South Carolina. Anything else sports-wise we need to know about from you, Andrew?
No, just my dogs keep bugging me.
Well, that's because they love you. And you know what? My dogs keep bugging me, and that's the Bulldogs of the Citadel.
I got a golden doodle who just wants me to just scratch her all day long, and she's standing right underneath me right now.
That's good. Thomas, who wants you to scratch them?
You know what? No comment.
Yeah. Well, Thomas, looking dapper there, looking like fall. I like that.
It's fall here in the upstate in South Carolina. Leaves are changing.
Are you an Eddie Bauer model on the side or something like that?
No, but I do have a classmate, Delta 95, that is a model, has been a model since we graduated. So I'm sure he's done some Eddie Bauer shoots.
Well, you can't throw that name. You can't throw the person out there without the name. Who are you talking about?
Scott Sanborn.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
A fellow model. He's a model and I'm a role model. Amazing. Hey.
In your mind, John. In your mind.
I'm not really a role model. Anything you got you need to get off your chest? To tell you one thing I want you to tell me about, because you're kind of an expert on this subject. That's Daybreak Adult Care Services. Tell me about Coker Day's other company he's got in the Midlands of South Carolina.
I knew we were not going to get through an episode without you asking me about Daybreak Adult Care Services.
Well, I mean, if you don't know much about them, I can. I mean, they got the website daybreakcare.com. You can give them a call if you're in Lexington,
Daybreak
Columbia.
Adult Care Services. It's personal in-home care in the privacy and security of your own home. They help make aging in place possible with a wide variety of in-home care services. And, of course, it was founded in 2001 by my classmate, Coker Day. And the mission is to provide quality care to help senior clients remain in their homes and at their desired level of independence for as long as possible. They have a couple of different locations. They're in Lexington and in Columbia. So, yeah, for all of your day home care, home-assisted living services, please reach out to Coker and his team at Daybreak Adult Care Services.
And Daybreak Care, again, is the daybreakcare.com, the website to find what Coker's got going on. Well, Andrew, we wish you all the best, sir, and good luck covering that North Greenville game and covering those Bulldogs from afar as they cross over the mountain into Johnson City this week.
Well, thanks, John, and thanks for having me on for another season.
Well, we got another couple of shows now. We're not going to let you off the hook quite yet.
Oh, okay.
Andrew's ready to bug out.
Yeah, are you giving up on us? Are you giving up on the dogs, or both?
I will tell you that next week I will not be here. I am. My wife we are going away for Thanksgiving, and my wife has forbade me to bring my laptop with me. So if you're doing it next week,
So
I will not be here.
Thomas, that means the heavy lifting's on you, big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, this ought to be a fun show next week.
No, we'll do it. We've done it. We'll figure it out. But yes, we'll recap the last game rather, for the Dogs against ETSU next week. Thomas, you have yourself a great week, sir.
All right, John, you do the same.
All right. And we appreciate everybody tuning in again. You can find us on the Facebook page for Citadel Gray Line. Also, our podcast available in iTunes, Spotify, and more. Just check out Citadel Greyline. You can listen to us at your own schedule until we gather again next week for the post ETSU game and other basketball and volleyball goings on and anything else fun going on at the Citadel. In fact, next week might be the perfect time for us to bring back our old co-host Jim Waddell from the class of 1960. He's already said he'd come on. We'll try to get him on as a Thanksgiving week edition of Citadel Greyline is underway, minus one Andrew Miller. But we'll keep on trucking. Until we see you again, thank you again for tuning in to this program, and we'll see you back here next week. Fall out, y'all.